where do you see your music career going? Not to dramatically change. Well, first off, before I ask you this, are you only doing music, or do you have like a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 type of job?
Yeah, so music's like my primary ambition. But on the side, I'm a stripper at a strip mall.
No, you're not. Are you?
Yeah, man.
This goes back to what you said earlier about not having sex. I almost believe you. Because there could be 25-year-olds out there who have never had sex. Like, that could be a thing.
That's my day job, man. Come see me.
I'll come see you.
Where do I see my music career going? Good question. Well, I would like to create something that reaches a good amount of people to deem it, I guess, profitable, you know? That's such a hard thing to define nowadays, you know? There's so many artists that I see that make money other ways, I guess. Like, music doesn't really make you money anymore, you know? It doesn't, because you don't sell records, really. You kind of do, but not really. It's all streaming now.
And I've heard stats
and you don't get shit for that.
You get like 0.0004 cents a stream or something to that effect.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
Like, even an artist who is getting millions of streams, they're not making much. Like, at least in terms of what you pay to record your stuff and like the time you put in, you're not making it back from streams. The only way to really make money in the music industry now is through touring and through playing shows, selling tickets or merch, things like that. That's the only way, really. So I guess my goal is within the next year or two to have enough people locally who want to see me play and expand that to other cities and maybe a nationwide thing, and just keep growing, man. To keep growing and to be able to create for a living. That to me would be the best life for me, you know? I don't see myself doing anything else, so I have to make this happen, and I'm still figuring it out. There's so many ins and outs to it, but the main thing, I guess, for the next year is just to make a name for myself in Austin, you know, in this town. Mm-hmm. And that's the start. Also, you know, some artists go the online route where like they get a viral TikTok or something. I don't know if I necessarily see myself being that kind of artist. I have to improve my my online image. As you have said, it's hard to find things out.
There ain't one. I'm sorry, that was mean.
Well, you know, I think my Instagram's... I haven't been very active in the past couple months because I've been, like, focused on creating and stuff. But, like, I'm trying to figure out how to do the online thing, too. I don't really know. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring it out. But for me, I see myself mostly growing on a community kind of level, I guess. Not a viral type level. Like, you know, you have artists that just blow up overnight. I don't know not that I wouldn't want that, but, like, I'm going to just play shows and try and get people that way. Like, I want people to want to experience what I'm doing in person. The online stuff's cool, but it's not the thing that grabs me. It's not why I do this, you know?
Why do you do it?
Well, I guess there's many reasons, but the main reason is because I love to do it, obviously. Like, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to do it. But also, you know, there is a part of me that wants to reach people, because there's been so many artists in my life that have helped me live and survive, like, gave me life. And I would love to be able to give that to other people. And I think there's something sort of missing in music today. I think it's become, at least mainstream music, it's become sort of like more about like the personality than the music. I guess this kind of goes into the thing I was saying with like the going viral. That's cool, but like to go viral, you really gotta like, nobody's going viral because of their music. They're going viral because of, they're putting on this persona, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I have it wrong, but yeah, I guess like, I don't know what the term is, but like there's a term out there for like satisfying your needs, but also satisfying other people's needs. There's like an actual word for that. I can't remember what it is, but like you're doing good in the world, but you're also doing good for yourself. It's like selfish, but you're also improving things in some kind of way. Do you know what that's called? I can't remember, man. I know what it's called. I just forget. I guess that's kind of where I'm at, you know? Like, I love to create. And if I could, like, reach a lot of people doing that and make an impact on their lives in, like, a positive way, then that would fulfill me in a big way. Like, I would love to do that, so. But I love to perform, too, you know? Like, it's interesting because, like, the performance part of music and like the creative part to me are different, because the performance part's very egotistical, because it has to be. Like if you're performing in front of all these people, like you got to raise your ego up, man, because you're performing, like everyone's looking at you, you better fucking bring it. And that's ego driven. But like creating is like no ego, like just letting shit flow through you, not even thinking about who you are, just thinking about like what the idea is. It's about the idea, not about you. And then performing is like the opposite, laying it out. And like you're raising to new levels that you didn't think you could as a person.
What are you thinking about when you're on stage?
Man, for me, it's like I overthink shit. So like I'm thinking about like,
Put
about
that down a little bit so I can see your face.
Yeah, sorry.
Perfect.
I'm thinking about like things that I probably shouldn't be thinking about.
Really?
Know?
Like
yeah.
what?
Like the technicalities of like the performance. I'm like analyzing the performance in real time almost, which is not what you want to do. But it's something I'm learning. Like I'm learning how to just let go, you know, like, because when you're performing, especially with a band, there's so many factors. Like you got just you, but like there's 3 other people or 4 people playing with you, and you can't control what they're doing. So really the best thing to do is just let go and just accept it in the moment as what it is. But usually like if I'm playing live, man, I'm thinking about like all kinds of shit. Like the color of the walls, you know, like just shit that doesn't even matter, dude. You know, because I'm like almost like I'm trying to escape the moment in a way, like because if you really face the moment as a performer, you kind of have to be delusional in a way to perform, in my opinion. Unless you're just like James Brown or like Mick Jagger or some shit, you know? You sort of have to like think about other shit. Because you're in front of all these people singing. Like, that's not easy to do. If you really thought about it, you would fuck up. So I have to think about other things that don't really matter. But I would like to get to the point where, as a performer, where I'm not thinking about anything, you know, where I'm like almost meditating up there. I'm like just so in the performance. And sometimes that happens. I get glimpses of that. So I know it's possible, where it's just like I'm letting go completely. Specifically when I'm playing guitar and it's no vocals, I can do that. But when I'm singing, it's like so vulnerable, man. Like you're singing in front of all these people, you know? It's vulnerable. So I have to like almost put up these barriers in a way just to cope with it. It's weird. So I'm thinking about all kinds of shit, really. But yeah, I should be thinking about nothing, or like, I don't know I don't know what I should be thinking about, really. I like to ask somebody who like is a great performer what they think about.
Have you met anyone that you would consider a hero or that you look up to or that inspired your own musical taste by chance?
Yeah, man. There's one person I met, Charlie Crockett, who's one of my favorite artists, man. He's a great guy too. I met him at Thicket Food Truck to Food Park. You know where that is?
No.
It's like south.
Is it the one right next to Zilker?
No, it's like 20 minutes south, but I went there during South by, because do you know Austin Music Love? You familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
It's run by this incredible guy, man. His name's David as well.
Mm.
And like, he's so involved in the community and shit. But they had this unofficial South by performance where it was like not a part of South by. And it was at Thicket Food Park. And I was sitting there with my friend. Actually, no, I'm sorry. His name's not David. It's John.
Oh, Jesus
John.
Christ.
So, John, if you hear this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've had a couple drinks, but his name's John. But anyways, so John, David, they're both common names. Easy to mix
Whoa.
up. But anyways, so we're sitting there at Thicket. I can't remember who's playing, because there was like 5 people that played that night that were like my friends of mine. It was before Fifi Knife Fight set. I know that. And I'm sitting there with John, who runs Austin Music Love, and we're just sitting there, and I see this guy walking from the parking lot, and it's Charlie Crockett. And I was like, I know who that is. I fucking love Charlie Crockett. I know who that is. And I saw him, and he kept walking, and I was like, I got to say hi. Like,
yeah.
I got to go up to him. Although, like, I didn't want to, because I was like, he was there with his girlfriend or his, like, fiance. And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy who, like, goes up to him. But I was like, fuck it. When am I ever going to fucking meet Charlie Crockett? I got to go up to him. So I went up to him, and I kept it short, man. We talked for, like, 2 minutes. But so I met him, and that was fucking cool. And, like, a month before that, I saw him play here at it was for like it was for some cause for like the golf course here, but it was at ACL Live.
Okay.
And dude, he's like blowing up now. He's from Austin. He's opening for Chris Stapleton now, so he's fucking big time.
That's something to brag about.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton's big, bro, and he's opening for him. So I was like, damn, like I gotta say hi to Charlie Crockett. So he's one of the guys I met. He's the only guy that I've met that I would consider like one of my idols, and he's a newer guy too. Like a lot of my idols are like older musicians. Like a lot of my influence comes from like 60s, 70s shit. But he's like a modern guy who's like doing it now. So that was cool.
I'm guessing you did not ask him what you should be thinking about while you're on stage.
No,
That was not.
I didn't ask him. No, but you know what's cool about him, man, is like his story is so cool. Like he was like homeless for a while. Like busking on the street. Like busking, man, for like pennies.
Busking?
Yeah.
So, like when you're asking for money?
Yeah, like you're there with your guitar, your case is open, and like people throw coins
There's
in.
a word for that?
Busking. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Have you ever been busking?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You were homeless at one point?
No, but I busked.
Oh, okay. So busked is
Busking
when you...
is just like, it's a term for the act, but it doesn't mean you're homeless.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like if you see a guy who's like playing on the street with his guitar case open for tips, he's busking. That's busking.
There's a word for everything.
Busking is cool, man. Like it gives you good experience, and you're just like, to me that's like you're really putting yourself out there, because like people don't want to hear you. They're just walking by, like they're not here to see you, and you're still playing for them.
Yep.
You know.
What was that? Where did you busk?
I bust on South Congress. I want to do it more because it's so like nerve-wracking for me, at least, because it's like, because these people don't want to hear me and they're hearing me, and that's, to me, that's like,
how do you know they don't want to hear you? It might be awesome to be walking into a grocery store and there's like a live guitar player like that. This whole experience just elevated. I walked into HEB today. There's no live music.
yeah,
It's fucking angry people. But now all of a sudden we have this handsome young man playing his guitar. Like, I'm really happy now. I'll throw a couple ones in there.
No, you're right, man. And that's something I got to come to terms with mentally, just who I am. Like, I don't like to be there if I'm not supposed to be there, or like people don't want me to be there. So that's something I got to come up with, like overcome. But you're right. Like, even if there's one guy that stops by and is like, and it's happened to me, like I've busked before and like 99% of the people walk by you and they're like, they don't give a fuck. And that could be discouraging. But then when you get that one guy who like listens and he throws some money and it's like, all right. Like,
how do you know they don't give a fuck?
I'm just thinking that because they're just not even acknowledging you, But I guess that means that they don't even know you're there.
Maybe they're not acknowledging
Whereas if they
you
know
because
you're
they
there,
don't have any cash and they feel bad because they want to give you cash, but because everything's on credit cards and Apple Pay, now I'm trying to avoid eye contact with you because I really like your music, but I have nothing to give you.
Well, I know, and that's probably more of like a logical answer, but you know how humans are. Like, we think the worst case scenario. Like, I think like, oh, like this person, I shouldn't be here. Like, this guy just doesn't give a fuck, But most of them don't, dude. If you're busking, there's people going to like meetings and shit. They don't even see you. Like, they don't care. But you have to, it's like an acceptance thing. It's like what we talked about earlier with like being a dwarf,
I'm laughing because you're laughing. Keep going. This is great.
I just have to be a dwarf out there and just accept it like Tyrion. But no, for real, like, if you're going to busk, you got to have the balls to just be like, I don't give a fuck. And for me, I'm like, that's something I have to get. I'm pretty sensitive as a person. Like, I feel a lot of emotions and like I can feel a room pretty well. So I know if I'm not supposed, like, if I'm in a room and I'm out of place, like I can tell pretty easily. So like if I'm busking on the street, it's different from like someone paying to come see you where they're like, I like this guy, I'm going to come see him. It's easy. You're like, they like what I'm doing. I just play. But if they don't even know who you are, you're just like, it's kind of like a salesman in a way, Like a salesman's like in your face and you're like, I don't even want to buy this shit. Like, get out of here. Whereas like, it's kind of like busking, like, but you have to become okay with that. You have to just say, fuck it. Like, I know they don't care about me, but I'm still going to play. I don't care.
So why do you do it?
I do it because it's good for me. It's good to challenge myself. And part of what I'm talking about is like overcoming that fear of just going out there and knowing you're not supposed to be there technically. Like, they didn't pay to see you. Like, they don't know who you are. So, and Charlie Crockett's a big inspiration for me in terms of he like, before he even made it as a musician, dude, that's all he did for money. Like, that's how he ate. That's it. It wasn't like he didn't have that fear, dude, because he had to eat. I can eat. You know what I mean? Like, I can afford to eat. But to force myself to do that is like, I'm doing that against my will. Whereas like, if I had to eat, dude, fuck, it'd be easy. I'd be like,
right.
I need to eat. Like, I'm going to busk, So like the busking thing for me is like a challenge in a way. But also, I don't know what it could lead to, Maybe somebody walks by me and they're a musician in Austin and like they can get me to play at like a certain club or something, So it's just paying your dues, I think. So it's like, that's the way I look at it, paying your dues. Being a real musician and getting out there, because before, dude, I know there's musicians now that are worth $100 million and shit, but that was not the case 100 years ago, dude. musicians 100 years ago, they played for pennies on the street. That's how they made their money. That was the way. So there's something about going through that, you know, and it humbles you. So that's why I do it. Yeah. So catch me on South Congress. Busking.
Don't worry about the website and where it says what shows he's going to be playing. Just South Congress.
Well, hey, that's the other thing. I'm going to get a website up soon. I promise. I honestly, I need a, I don't know how to make one. I'm going to have to hire somebody to design it. But no, I need a website, dude. You're right.
Keep working your YouTube channel. It looks good.
Yeah, I need to upload more. I need to do some covers or some shit. I don't really know what to do, you know? It's like I need some direction.
You need to collaborate with other musicians. You need to find someone who's like 2 or 3 steps ahead of you.
Yeah. Hey, if you're 2 or 3 steps ahead of me, hit me up.
Yeah, where they're not like, they're not Jason Aldean, just because that's the only fucking name that's coming to mind right now.
Because you love him.
No, I don't. I haven't listened to him.
That's your favorite artist. Jason Aldean, come on the pod.
No. I mean, if you did, sure, if you want to.
What if he heard that? You wouldn't let him on?
Yeah, come on, Jason. No, I actually, I don't listen to that type of country.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I feel like that's how I'm growing right now is I have like 2 podcasters. It's crazy to think, man, because this is a relatively new show. But I have like 2 podcasters who are slightly behind me that come to me for advice regularly, and I have 1 podcaster that's significantly in front of me that I go to for advice regularly.
Yeah.
And I feel like both aspects are so important.
Right.
The ones that reach out to me, that's like a fucking honor. It's almost like imposter syndrome. Like, why the fuck are you calling me?
Yeah.
Like, don't call Dom Francis. He's not even a podcaster. He could give you better advice. And then the one that takes my phone calls, same thing. I'm like, man, why is Marcus taking another one of my phone calls? Like, this is crazy to me. Like, he has so much to take care of on his end, and I'm not even paying him anything, and he's taking this call from me. And I just think it goes the way I'm trying to go about life is, you know, the fact that it's the abundance versus scarcity mindset that I don't mind helping those two because and Marcus doesn't mind helping me because all of our shows cater to something else and none of us have any fear of like, well, if I help Dom's podcast grow, that's my listeners that are going to go to him and then they're not going to listen to my, like, that's the furthest thing from my mind right now. It's a fucking honor that there's 2 other people producing shows calling me for advice. And then on the flip side, Marcus takes my calls like once a month. I'm just, dude, like I'm blown away. And it makes me so happy on both ends, you know, and we can all grow together and we can all rise together. So I don't know if the music world is like that at all. And I don't even know if the podcasting world is like that. Maybe I just happen to meet a few people where we're all sort of on the same page and willing to help each other out. But if you could find someone that would, I don't even want to say mentor because it wouldn't be a regular thing, but you know, you could reach out to every now and then for some advice.
Yeah,
and
totally.
if you also have someone younger in their musical path who reaches out to you, I would tell you, man, like take that call and fucking help them out and share all your secrets with them because that giving back, like for me, it blows me away that like someone would seek me out for advice. And I can't tell you why. It's crazy to me, man.
Yeah, man, totally. And like, I'm looking for that kind of thing. Who are your like top 3 podcasters right now? What do you say? Some of your biggest, like, who do you take after? Who do you like?
So it's funny because I got the idea to move to Austin from a guy named Chris Williamson, and his podcast is called Modern Wisdom.
I've seen that guy before. Yeah.
In person? He lives here. That's why I was wondering.
No, but he's like really big, isn't he?
Yeah. So he moved from the UK to Austin, and I don't know if it was to start a podcast, but I moved from California to Austin because similar to what you did with the lodge, I was too distracted. I almost needed to put myself in isolation and go somewhere where I had no friends, no family, and I could focus solely on what I wanted to do. So this is like my isolation time almost.
Yeah.
And Chris did that. So I actually don't even listen to his podcast that much. But the few episodes I listened to, he brought it up and he was like, you know, if the podcast flopped, I can just go back to the UK. Like it's no big deal. So he moved to Austin. I knew a lot of other podcasts were being birthed in Austin, so I thought, let's go there. So even though I don't listen to his, even just like yesterday, I was redesigning my YouTube page and I looked up his page because I wanted to see, like, I wonder what he did with this stuff. But as far as like getting like other podcasters, like when I was getting ready for your show today, I listened to a Theo Von's podcast this past weekend and specifically his episode with Amy Knox, who was, do you know who that is?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know who she was before her episode.
I don't know her very much, but I've heard her.
But I just love Theo because he's so curious.
He's definitely one of my favorites. He's funny as fuck. Dude.
Well, he's funny, but I just like his interview style. Yeah. Like he just wants to get to know the person across from him. Yeah. And so I love how he talks to people. And like we were talking about earlier, I don't copy him. I bet you that for the people who are watching, bless you, Gesundheit.
Gracias.
Do you think of Theo Von when you see me, or when you hear my interview style?
Sort of in the way that like you're really interested in like trying to get to the bottom of it. Theo is interesting because he does that, but he's also fucking like it's the way he asks the questions that is so funny, dude.
Well, even one thing that he does that I haven't picked up just because I forget, but also like again it goes back to the copying thing, which I'm not that worried about. But one thing he says a ton is really, like he just questions the guest in like a respectful way. Yeah. And so that's something I'm trying to lean into more, where I feel like he will stay on a subject. And sometimes I'm so driven by the questions. I'm like, oh, we got to get to question number 4. And instead I want to lean back on like, all right, let's stay on the lodge. Like, this isn't interesting. We haven't covered everything yet. Like, let's just stay here. And telling myself like, it's okay to stay in this moment. Like, forget about the questions, forget about the laptop. Like, let's just talk about whatever Dom is talking about right now until the subject's over. And once it's over and dead, we can move on. But until that moment happens, we're staying right fucking here, baby.
Yeah. No, I think you have a good style, man. Like, you definitely, you're in Theo's case and in your case, like the similarities are, you guys both want to get to the bottom of like the discussion. Like, you want to give the discussion every chance it has to reach its like capacity, you know? And I think that's the most important thing about podcasting is like allowing that space for that to happen and like letting it flow. Like that's what's so cool about podcasting, man. It's like a flow. You know what I mean? It's like there's no rules.
No. I love it.
It's just like do what you want and like it'll just happen. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's very intuitive and it's very subconscious and like free flowing, and that's the kind of shit I like. I like that kind of stuff. I like that with music too. Music that's just like improvisational. That's what I love about jazz. It's like it wasn't written. They just did that in the moment. And that podcasting is like that.
Is a lot of jazz improv? Not improv, but like they're just sort of like, all right, we're starting with the D chord and let's see where it goes.
Most jazz, I mean, jazz I like Miles Davis. He's a big proponent of like, here's the chords. Let's fucking play and see what happens. And like the recordings they would do would be like 20 minutes long and it would just be this thing. And you couldn't recreate it if you wanted to. Like, you couldn't replicate that in another time. It was like they captured a moment, you know? And I like that shit. Like, capturing a moment, that's cool.
You've been to Parker's Jazz Lounge by chance?
No.
Should go.
Is that here?
Yeah, it's here in Austin.
Yeah? No, I haven't been.
I've been twice. It's really
Where's
fun.
it at?
Downtown. Do you happen to know where... what's the gay bar on 4th? Rain on 4th?
Yeah, I actually do, yeah.
And the Coconut Club?
Oh yeah, I know where that is, yeah.
It's right in that little pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been there, but dude, you gotta check out Elephant Room.
What's Elephant Room?
It's a jazz club bar, I guess. It's downtown area.
Okay.
It's really nice.
Okay, I love jazz. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
That's what Parker's is. It's a basement.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they do. I'm sure they do, but the first time we went to it, we showed up like to where maps told us to go. And we were like, we're here. And then it takes you down this sort of dark staircase and you're like, all right, am I going to get murdered right now? And then you open the door and there's this just this beautiful lounge with this giant mural that covers one wall, and it's what you would expect from a jazz lounge, like little candles on every table, and you walk in, enjoy an hour of music, and then walk right out. It's great.
Jazz is great, man. It's one of the coolest live forms of music, I feel like.
Do you listen to much Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park? Did you know he's a piano player in a jazz band?
No.
You didn't know that?
No.
I got some music.
I'm honestly not familiar with him.
You saw Jurassic Park though, right?
Yeah, but it was so long ago.
You remember Ian Malcolm's character?
No. Dude,
Bro,
I
got some shit I need to send to you. It's so good.
I'll definitely listen. Is he a jazz player?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
The music in that movie, from what I remember, is great.
It's nothing like that because that's all like Steven Spielberg, like da 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 da.
Steven Spielberg's interesting, man. He's one of those directors. You see a movie, you're like, that's Steven Spielberg. He's just all over the place.
Yes.
Sort of like there's a couple of directors like that, like Scorsese. Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I love Scorsese though. Who's your favorite director, would you say? Or one of modern film, or not modern?
The only one I could think of, because I don't want to think on it a lot, is like maybe who's the guy that directed the Batmans?
Oh, Nolan.
With Christian Bale.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to see Oppenheimer. That's Christopher Nolan.
I loved those Batman movies, man, were just like something else to me. Like they were so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big like Marvel. Wait, is that Marvel or
No, bro.
Oh, what is it?
Nolan.
No, but what's Batman?
Well, because I don't think those three Batman movies, they were not a part of any kind of universe.
Oh,
they were
really?
just like a 1, 2, 3, like standalone sort of bam. When you asked me about podcasts, I wanted to ask you, do you have like a favorite one or two musicians that you really admire for one reason or another?
Definitely, man. My favorite of all time is Bob Dylan, for sure.
Bob Dylan.
Number one.
Bob
Dylan, man. Like, he's a big reason why I started to play, and started to pursue music, was Bob Dylan, man. He's by far number one.
What's like a song of his that everyone would know? That's what I'm looking up real quick.
Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Of course.
He wrote that. Everyone knows it for the version that was done by the fuck. What's the I can't think of the band right now.
Is there a band that did a cover of that song that's more popular than his?
Yeah. Oh, well, that happens with Dylan a lot.
Fucked.
Well, dude, that happens with him a lot. He'll write some iconic songs and like someone will cover it and make it bigger. Who the fuck covered it though in the 80s with Slash?
What's the specific song again you're asking?
Oh, Guns N' Roses. They did a version of Knocking on Heaven's Door. Jimi Hendrix did a version of All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah. Oh, is that Bob
There must
originally?
be some way out of here. Yeah, that's Bob Dylan.
I'm pretty sure I know that song because of Jimmy.
Yeah,
ironically.
most people do. That's the thing about Dylan is like he'll write these songs and like people will cover them and they'll be way bigger with that artist than when he recorded them. Yeah, so he's number one for me. Number two would probably be it's so hard. I love Van Morrison. Van Morrison's one of my favorites, man. You would probably know Brown Eyed Girl. He wrote that.
Yes.
But that's like, he's got so much more than that. But that's like his hit. Yeah.
So so I know how I study podcasters. How do you study? How do you study musicians?
Definitely
like Dylan?
study musicians. Yeah. I guess I study like their approach, or I try and figure out the magic behind them. Although a lot of times you can't, because you're not in the room when they write those great songs. I mostly try and figure out their process if I can, or like how they allow ideas to come to them, and also just their stories. Because before even being a musician, I'm a historian of music. Like I love music, and I know a lot about the artists that I admire, and like their lives and like their journey. Like I could tell you a lot about Bob Dylan, just aside from the music, just his life. And So I study that stuff, and I study their songs, because that's where the most information is. You learn enough of their songs, you kind of figure out their tendencies, like what they do in terms of like a chord structure or like a flow of a song or like specific tendencies that they have, because every songwriter has those. So I study that kind of stuff. Sometimes I study lyrics, but that's harder because you never know what they're trying to say, you know. Everyone interprets it differently. But yeah, I study Dylan, and also I read his book, Chronicles, which is like sort of about his life. Trying to figure out who he was as a person, not just a musician. And try and take anything I can from that without stealing completely. Because I'm not Bob Dylan, I'm me.
You're Dom Francis.
Right, but there's things I can do there's things that he does that might open my world up a little bit, you know, even if it's just learning a song of his. Because if you learn a song and there's a chord in there that you've never played before, now you learn that chord, and now you have that chord forever. And you might be writing a song and you're like, I don't know what to do next. I'm lost. And you remember that chord, and you're like, that's the chord I learned in that Bob Dylan song. I'm going to use it. It's that kind of shit, you know? Just probably a lot similar to what you do with podcasting. I imagine, like, I don't know what your process is like, but it's probably a lot similar to what I do, just in a different way.
It's funny because it's similar, but it's so different because, like we said before we hit record,
Yeah.
There is no script to this. I think I only read you. I had a page and a half of notes for this episode, and I think I read off 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's so different because with a podcast, like you just talk.
Yeah.
What do you do when you hit when you get writer's block? Do you just sort of accept it and move on, or will you try to fight it and be like, no, maybe not finishing the song, but like, yeah, let's just leave it at that. Will you move on? Because to your point about like your album in 2024,
Yeah.
you do have a deadline, but you don't. Like if you know, like I have a deadline that every Saturday I have to release an episode. So there is a certain like thing, but like you could release your album in January or December. And in a way it doesn't matter because you don't have any like producers breathing down your back. So if you hit writer's block, what do you do?
Usually for me, when I get stuck, I'm kind of in that zone right now a little bit, to be honest with you. I haven't really written anything in like 2 weeks. It's just been like dry. I don't know why. It just happens. I try and step away from it a little bit and just experience life and try and find some, I guess, inspiration, you know, something that could trigger that feeling again, or that need to write. Try and search elsewhere other than just in myself, you know, just find things in my day, or yeah, just like stepping away from it helps. Also learning new songs, listening to different music that I wouldn't normally listen to, like just random shit, because that might spark an idea. Basically just trying to trigger that thing inside of me that's like wants to make something, like almost like fooling myself in a way, like, you know, like tricking myself into creating, like not coming directly head on and being like, I'm gonna create right now, listen up. It doesn't work like that, because then you won't get shit. But there's ways that you can dance around that, and like sort of like an animal, you know, like some people track animals and they like trick it into going into the cage.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it. Like I'm trying to trick myself into allowing myself to open up enough to create something worthwhile. But the timing of that is different each time. Like sometimes it'll be a month or two. For me, usually I get these rushes of creativity where I'll create a lot in like 2 weeks, and then I won't get shit for like a month or 2 months. And then that thing will happen again where like I get all these ideas. It's sort of like giving birth, you know, like I'm getting pregnant right now. I don't have anything right now, but I'm getting pregnant. And then like one day in the future, I will give birth to all these ideas. That's how I look at it, really. It is kind of funny, but it's true. Like, I'm just getting pregnant right now. And then I'll give birth to all these ideas, and hopefully they're good. That's how I look at it. But I'm always trying to create something at all times, you know.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah. Have I ever been pregnant? No.
Well, I was thinking, like, I've asked you a ton of personal questions. This one's going to be a little bit more personal
Sure,
than the rest
yeah.
of the ones I asked.
Yeah.
So since I've been in Austin, I've met a handful of musicians.
Yep.
One that I will not name, he has not been on the show, but we were talking about it, and he released an album. He was going on tour. He invited me out tour. Jesus. Sorry, everyone. Still there a little bit. The California accent's still there. He invited me out to the first night of tour, which was here in Austin. And I said, great. If I show up like 30, 40 minutes early, can I get like 2 minutes of your time and we can actually like meet in person? And he said, sure. So I show up and he comes walking over to the table I was sitting at. I told him where I was in the bar or the wherever we were at the event. And he comes walking over and I was like, dude, like, first night of the tour, your album's out. Like, how fucking psyched are you? And he just sort of put his head in his hands and he's like, dude, like, I'm just so depressed. I can't really be excited about anything right now. And I remember thinking, like, on this, like, from the outsider, me looking in, all these good things are happening, and yet he's experiencing like this, whatever this depression is. And then I had a couple more artists on the show. And then even something I haven't admitted yet, because I haven't been recording at all. You're my first episode in August, which is very unlike me. Woo! I spent the first like 2 or 3 weeks of this month just like down in the dumps, and I don't know why. And I called a friend who is a podcaster, business owner. He's a very creative person. And I called him to talk about it, and he was like, I don't actually feel bad for you. I'm happy for you, because he's like, depression is a prerequisite for creative people. So if you're hitting it for the first time since you've been podcasting, like, that's a good thing. And it's okay that you don't know the answer as to why you're feeling like you feel right now. So just fucking like write it out and do what you need to do to keep the podcast going. So this is a long-winded way of saying that, you know, since experiencing this a little bit myself and still can't really put words to how I felt the first week or two of August, but I felt like I did. Do you experience that? Do you, as an artist, do you ever feel like you experience these real highs and these real lows, or do you feel like you're more of a consistent person and you're always just sort of chugging along?
Yeah, for me, it's extreme highs and extreme lows.
Really?
Yeah. And whenever I release something, I'm depressed because it's done. Like, in the process of making something, usually for me, it's just such a thrill. I love it because everything's like, it's like springtime, you know, like, you know, summer's around the corner. Things are good. That's how I look at it when I'm creating and I'm making a project. The process of making it, to me, is the peak. Putting it out there is the bottom for me, because now I'm back to square one. I got nothing else.
I get that. Everything
that I've identified within the past year or 6 months is no longer relevant. And now I have to start over. And so for me, I go through these phases of depression and questioning. I think everybody does that. But like, when I'm not getting any new ideas, I'm like, it's over. Like, I'm getting no more ideas now.
It's over.
Yeah.
That was, oh no.
No, but seriously, like, the ideas are gone. Like, dude, songwriting is so weird, because one day you'll be a genius in your eyes. You'll be like, oh my God, I just made that. How? And then the next day you don't have shit. It's like, it doesn't matter anymore, you know? You're only as good as like you're only as good as that day. And so it's easy for me to fall into that state of like, man, I've got nothing now. And that's what it's like when I release a project. It's like, what do I do now? Sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
I have to create again. And like, am I going to be able to create again? I've thought about that a lot. Like, cause I think for certain artists, or you know what, for every artist, I'll say this, like I'm going to make this stand right now. People might disagree with it, but artists have they have a shelf life for their great works. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like anything I've made is great, but like,
It's pretty fucking good though.
thank you, man. But like, if you look at every great artist who's got like a catalog, they have those years where it's like magical. Like they're just making the best shit. And then like that really only lasts a couple years, and then the rest of their catalog is sort of just like, yeah, it's okay, it's good. So, and that's just that, but that's every artist though, or every athlete, or everybody that's existed, man. It's like you have your time, you have your window. I believe that. Like an athlete, if you're like a NBA player, you have your prime. Artists have their prime, where things are just coming to them, and like for whatever reason they're creating their best shit at that moment, and like things are flowing. So whenever you release something, you're back to square one. You're, at least for me, I'm like, well, am I going to be blessed again with ideas? Because I believe ideas come from somewhere else. I'll take a stand on that too. Obviously, they're coming from you because you're writing them down, but most of the songwriters I've studied where it's their best songs, they're like, dude, I didn't even write that song. Like, it just happened. It's like a happening, you know? That's what they say, and I believe that. So a lot of creation, in my opinion, is out of your control. You can do things to set yourself up to create, like tendencies that you could do, like meditation and like smoke a little weed, whatever, drink. But you can't really like, creating is like sort of waiting. You're just sort of waiting for like things to come to you. You're waiting. You're hoping that something, you're hoping that you're going to wake up one day and like there's an idea and like there's something to work on. And the days that there's nothing to work on, it's depressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck, like I got nothing. I'm nothing right now. You're only as good as the idea that you have. And so, yeah, I do have many days where I'm like down, but I try to get out of it as quick as I can. I try not to sulk and stay there. It's easy to, but I try to push myself out of it and get positive again. So, but I've also thought a lot about like suffering and great art. This is something I think might be true. Like the greatest artists are usually like miserable fucking people. You know, like they're not pleasant to be around. They're like isolated. They're depressed. But they create some of the best shit. You know? And I've thought about like, can you really be truly happy and create great art? I don't know. Probably can, but it's harder.
It's funny. It's so funny you say that. There's someone, I'm going to leave, again, not bring them up because I don't know if they'd want this to be public knowledge. But I asked them if the particular thing that they are creating, if they've been working on it at all recently. And their response was, I haven't been depressed enough lately. And at first I laughed. And then they were like, but no, seriously, like I do my best work in a dark spot. And I just, things are sort of on the up and up. So I'm just sort of working my day job and leaving the side hustle of this creation process alone until I get to a headspace where I can create.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're being 100% genuine with me right now. And he's like, yeah, I need to be in the right headspace. And I have not been sad, depressed, anxious, none of those things. And so I have no ideas coming my way.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting to hear someone very honestly say that out loud. And yeah, it's like, at least you know you. Self-awareness. Check that box off.
Totally, man. And that's different for everybody. Some people create, like for me, usually it's weird because my best stuff comes when I'm like not depressed, when I'm like excited and like free and just like unbound by anything, even emotion, and just I'm not like one of those people that gets depressed and is like, I gotta write about this. For me, when I'm depressed, dude, I don't do shit.
Yeah.
I like lay in bed. I'm like, fuck. Like, yeah. I don't want to write a song. Kidding me? You know what I mean? So, like, I usually write when I'm, like, kind of happy. Or, like, in a hopeful mood. Like, there's hope. I like to write in that environment. Everybody's different, but some of my favorite songwriters, like, they're tragic people. Like, they've lived tragic lives and, like, suffered a lot. You know what I mean? Like, and they died young, and they had nothing going for them except that. Everything else in their life sucked. Like, they had no parents, or like someone got killed in their family. Like, they were just miserable people, and like the creation was their way out of the misery. And in the end, it swallowed them up, and they died. But they still made some amazing stuff.
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. Someone like that, yeah. Kurt Cobain, or like Townes Van Zandt, who's an Austin guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Before
one of Tom's favorite songwriters, Tom.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Tragic life, though.
So after hearing you talk about that, I think I know exactly what I was feeling like in the beginning of August was because July, all I did was record.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded like 10 episodes in July, and some of them were pretty damn good. And there's like new lights and new cameras and new ideas and new guests.
Yeah.
And then in August, in the beginning of August, it was just like a complete stop. I had like my first episode with 5 people in total on July 30th. And so I think I was just feeling like what you felt when you were talking about releasing an album is like it was record, meet all these really exciting new people, new tech, new studio, new lights. And then it was just like,
back to square one.
I have nothing planned.
Yeah.
Let's hit up Dom and
Let's hit this guy up, man. We'll get him on.
And then all of August, it wasn't any recording. It was the stuff I really don't like. It was all editing, post-production, social media clips. And like you, the only reason I'm on social media is to grow the podcast. If I had my way, I wouldn't be on any of these platforms.
Dude. That's the thing I struggle with, man. And it's like, I fucking hate the social media aspect of it. You know, like, I wish I could just do it without that, but, like, I know it's necessary, so I really gotta... I think what I need to do is find someone who's, like, good at that and, like, partner with them in some way, you know? Like, I know I need a website. I know what I need. It's just doing it in the right way, you know, the way that I want to do it as well. Like, I don't want to be one of those social media people that's, like... I don't know, cheesy or like, you know how you can tell when someone's on social media and it's like they're doing it for the views. I don't want to be that kind of person. I want to be genuine as possible and like present it the way that I'm going to do it and like have that come across that way rather than begging like, please fucking listen to my music. Listen, you know what I mean?
One of my friends the other day, in talking about like the disingenuous people, was the people who like film themselves taking a walk. Because he's like, you have to walk to that further point to put your phone or your camera down, and then you have to re-walk like backwards.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's so much effort to be like, oh, I'm on this walk, and like, just enjoy the fucking walk. Like,
I know.
Why does this have to be on Instagram?
So true, man. Yeah. It's so true. And that's like, so I don't want to come off as that guy who's like, I want to do the social media stuff, but I don't want to come across like, hey, like, please listen to my stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I believe in what I'm doing enough where like, I feel like it'll find its way. You know, I'll find my audience somehow, you know. And that might not be the right approach. Maybe the right approach is like, oh, I make a TikTok every day, and like I make a TikTok of me like cooking lunch, and like something funny happens, and then I play my song, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like now I'm known for the guy who like made a funny TikTok and people heard my song, and like now I'm like this TikTok star. Like I don't want to be that, you know. Yeah. I want to just make genuine music that I feel, and if enough people take to it and it finds its audience, like that's what I want. And but also I do have to compromise in some way and do the social media thing. So I realized that, and that's something that I need to incorporate more into what I'm doing. It's like the social media aspect. So
will you genuinely play one of your songs before we wrap this episode up?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love to.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you going to play tonight?
What should I play?
You don't know? You've had 3 hours to think about this. You've had 24 hours to think about this.
I'll play a new one for you that's unreleased. That could be on the album. It's a newer song. I'll play it for you.
I'm here for that.
All right.
I don't even know what it is yet.
You want to do a shot first?
Yeah. Are you down to do a shot first?
I'm down, baby.
Let's do it.
I'm down to the ground. You get the shots, I'll get my guitar.
The question is, are we shooting basil, 9-banded? Yeah, that's your only options.
We got to do the basil. Bring it back to Doug Stamper.
Fucking Doug. Doug, come on the podcast. I don't even know what your name is in real life, but
Doug Stamper, if you're listening, stamp your way over to Austin and give us a pod.
Do you need any kind of a kickback, or are you good?
What?
I called it a kickback because we're on David's Saturday night sit back. Which doesn't really make any sense. Do you want a Sprite to throw it back with, or are you good with just the shot?
You see this chest hair? Does this chest hair say that I need... Does this scream...
The most chest you'll ever see on this podcast.
Does this chest hair scream kickback to you?
No. Does mine?
Yeah, you should get some Sprite.
Wait, now you're sending me mixed messages.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I'll take it like a man, dude. We're Irishmen here.
Do you do the thing where you clink, tap, shoot?
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers to you, mate.
Cheers. Woo!
You said no.
All right, I'm going to sing, so I got to have something.
Take your water.
But no to the Sprite. Hey, I just want to shout out David. Thanks for having me on the podcast. David, Saturday night, sit back. Listen to it, motherfuckers. This song is a newer song. I wrote it recently, last couple months. It's called Rusty Train, Take Me Away. Rusty train, take me away. Take me down south where things are growing and people are smiling. Rusty train, take me away to some town I've never been and leave me there. I don't wanna come back. Take me away. Take me away. Take me away. I am gone in my head, I'm gone now. I just need my body to follow. I need to find a place to rest my head. Why is that so hard these days? Everywhere I go, it's just so damn expensive. I don't know what to do. Should I sell my soul for a couple dollars, or should I try to play the blues? Take me away, take me away. Would you please take me away? I got no home, got no home, got no place I wanna be. There's nothing specific out there for me. I just wanna see the world, wanna see the countryside, wanna find me a woman that wants to be all mine. I just wanna see where life's gonna take me, rusty train. Would you please take me away? Would you please take me away? Would you please take me away?
Dude, that was really fucking good. That
Thanks,
was
man.
really good.
Thank you, man.
That,
Appreciate it.
You remind me of Ryan Bingham a little bit.
Ryan Bingham?
Do you know who that is?
No.
He's great. It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That dude, is that gonna be on the next
That's going to be on the album, most likely, yeah.
We have an unreleased song, first time ever on David's Saturday Night Sit Back.
Can I play you one more?
Can you? I might jump on you if you do.
All right.
What's this next one gonna be?
This one was on the last EP that I just put out.
What's it called?
Ease Your Worried Mind.
So it was one of the ones from Lodge?
Yeah, it's off Lodge. I wrote it at the Lodge, at the cabin. Glad you like that one, though, because that's going to be on the album, most likely. Take a sip of your coffee and a hit from your pipe. Do me a favor, ease your worried mind. Ease your worried mind. Ease your worried mind, 'cause you break your spirit and you miss sunrise. Don't try to engineer it. Ease your worried mind. Ease your worried mind. Turn off the news networks. You won't like what you find. They want you to keep a worried mind. You'll trade your time for a worried mind in the break spirit and you miss the sunrise. Don't try to engineer it. Ease your worried mind. 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 Thank you, David. Appreciate you letting me play a couple.
I have a strange question for you, but I promise I'll bring it full circle.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Do you believe in God, karma, fate, any kind of like force that sort of brings things together? Or what's your stance on like a higher power of sorts?
I do believe in it. I don't know. Like, for me, it's not like a defined thing. Like, I'm not like a specific religion. But I do believe there's like a God, I guess, or like an energy source of some kind, you know, something that's beyond our understanding, something that's higher. Yeah, I do believe in that. Yeah. And that's my approach is kind of intertwined with that, I guess, in some way. Like, I try and best I can, like, dive into that world, I guess, maybe. Or I try and connect with it, you know, not like a specific, like, oh, like, I'm going to connect to God, but like music to me, or like writing music, is very like otherworldly, or I try and let it be as best I can. Yeah. Why do you ask?
I hope the mic picked up more than you just did there. No, you're good. You're good. The episode that released today was someone who he's 20 years old and he's running a business that's making over $100,000 a year. And I thought that was going to be the main topic of his episode.
Yeah.
And turns out that he is a pastor's son, very religious Christian. It came up that I was gay.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest emotionally episodes that I've recorded so far.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad episode, but for me, like, I took a fucking beating, man, because he essentially told me that, like, you know, his stance on homosexuality is that it's a sin. And it was just an emotionally heavy episode.
Right.
And I released it today, and it, like, for you to play that song of just like, easier troubled mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was just like the perfect way to end the day. And so a huge thank you to you for just you know, even if like the fucking audience didn't like that song, which I don't know how you could not like it, but like that was exactly what I needed to hear in my day. And as you were singing, I was thinking about the fact of like, this is fucking crazy that like I moved to Austin, started a podcast, like that guy, Austin Abbott, who went live today. Thank you for coming on the show. I love you, man. I love that episode. And I think it's going to give a lot of people interesting perspectives from different angles. But for me, like, I've never been stressed about releasing an episode, and it was on my mind all day today. You know, even after it went live, I was like, man, I sort of want to take it down. I don't really want to release it because so much of my life was just put on spotlight in a viewpoint that I don't necessarily know I want out there in the universe because it's my fucking life.
Yeah.
I didn't start this podcast to talk about me, and that episode was really heavy about me and his perception of me, and just like, fuck. And that was just like, as I was listening, I was just like, dude.
Well, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you connected with that.
I feel like a little bit more at peace now. Or maybe it's just the whiskey. Who knows?
Well, you know what, man? It's like when I wrote that song, I wrote it at the lodge, but I was living with this guy named Alex who really like was a mentor to me and still is in some ways. But I was living with him, and he was like ranting about like politics and like all this stuff, you know? And I was like, I think this is where the song came from. Basically, it was my way of saying to him, like, calm down, man. Like, ease your mind. Take a sip of your coffee. Do me a favor. Ease your worried mind. Like, that was, looking back, I think that's what that song's about. And, because you never know. Because I didn't write the song after we had that discussion. It was like weeks after. But I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. And that was the inspiration for it. And that's what it's about. And he would watch the news like every morning. He'd watch like the news, like CNN or like NBC or whatever. And his whole day would be like fucked up because he watched the news in the morning. Like, you're starting your day watching the news. Like, it's not going to be a good day, really. And that was like what I took from that was like, turn off the news networks. Like, that's when I'm thinking of the lyrics, like, you're not going to like what you see. Like,
Right.
Can disconnect from that. And so that song is, I'm glad you say that, because to me that song is very soothing in a way.
It gives you a reminder to just like,
Yeah.
it brings you back to a moment of like, just like, yeah, fuck, I need to just like, what's my happy place? Is it the cup of coffee on the porch? Like, that literally is for me and Thad.
Right, yeah.
My favorite time of day is waking up in the morning and we get a hot cup of coffee and we do one of two things. We either go on the porch or we get back in bed together.
Yeah.
And it's just like a moment of just like 10 to 20 minutes of like, we're sipping our coffee, we're not watching the news. On the opposite end of that, I have someone in my life who, similar to my TV setup, where they have a TV mounted on the wall, like the actual size TV, they have another mini TV, probably the size of this laptop.
Yeah.
And they play the news on mute 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't know what station it is, but they turn it on to, let's say Fox, fuck it, I don't care, you know. And they mute it.
Yeah.
And Fox runs in their house from when they wake up to when they go to bed. And I'm just like,
that's fucking.
what
Once
are
you
you guys
consider,
doing?
once you consider the narrative behind like the news, it's like it discredits it, in my opinion. And I guess that's what that song set out to do, was just connect with yourself, you know. And that's what I got from the Lodge, and that's kind of why I wrote that song. Was like, the chorus is like, it's gonna break your spirit, and you'll miss the sunrise. Don't try and engineer it. Ease your worried mind. Like, we get so caught up in the shit going on in our days, but like, it doesn't really, it matters. Don't get me wrong, it matters. Like, issues matter, but just ease your mind. And like, sometimes you just got to watch the sunrise and like experience nature and like things that are, because regardless of what's going on Fox News, like, the day's still going to go on, and like, the sun's coming up and the moon's coming out and the grass is growing and like the bugs are singing. Like, things are still happening no matter how bad that screen looks and how much shit is going on in the world. Like, you can find something in your day that is worth it, and it's something you can connect with in some kind of way. And that's what I set out, I guess, with that song, was that kind of feeling. So
I think as long as you keep writing like that, there's no reason why you can't have a successful career in music.
Thanks, man.
There's my whiskey kicking in. Because yeah, man, it's so relatable, you know?
Yeah.
It's just real. It's raw. It's fucking great.
Yeah, and that's what I try and do, man. It's like, I just try and give myself, when I record something or when I write a song, is like, I just try and like let it flow, you know? And what'd you think of the first one I played, Rusty Train? That's an unreleased one. I want to put that on an album.
I loved it. I'm going to
Nice.
listen to it again before this episode releases.
Yeah,
I'm going
man.
to listen to it a couple times.
Yeah, I've been playing that one out at some open mics and stuff, just seeing how it goes. And it's one of the first songs that'll be on the album, like the first ones I've finished that I like, that I want to put on there. And I'm glad you like it.
How do you feel like it's been doing it at the open mics?
It's good, man. People like it. So like I played it at Mozart's. You've been to Mozart's, right?
Mm-mm.
It's like on Lake Austin. It's a really cool spot. But they do an open mic there every Monday during the summer. And like they have a podcast, and like they put my song on there because I played there and they liked it, so they put it on the podcast, which is cool. So I played it on here. It's second podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like people like that song. There's something about it. I like it too.
I'm glad you like it.
Well, you know what, dude? It's
I like it too.
Well, dude, it's like weird. It's hard to explain, but it's like I don't feel like I wrote that song. That song just came to me, like it happened. I don't feel like I really wrote that one, you know? It's like someone else's song, and I just happen to get it. It's weird, bro. It's like, it's hard to explain, but like that one just came to me like quick. And it's like,
it's beautiful too.
Thanks, man. Yeah. It's definitely going to go on the album. The album, I guess the premise at this point is like freedom. That's the feeling I want to portray, I guess. Based on what I've written, other songs I've written that aren't that one that like I've written that are going to be on the album too. It's like I just want to like give off some free feeling, like some freedom type feeling, you know? Like I feel like today in the world, like I said this earlier and it might sound cliche, but there's just so much shit in our lives, dude. And if you really like, you could get rid of 90% of it and you'd still be okay. Like you'd be better off probably. And like, what does it mean to be because, all right, we have our freedom technically, right? Like we live in a modern, like first world country, and you can be what you want to be, like basically, like you can do what you want. People might judge you, but it's not illegal unless you're doing like some crazy shit. But like some shit's illegal, don't get me wrong, but like abortion and shit. But like we're free. We're as free as humans have ever been, right? Like technically, like if you break it down technically, but still people are like not free. Like they're still like tied down by things in their lives.
Expectations
or like obligations or like the things they own. Like, oh, like I've got this boat, so now I got to fucking take care of it. Like I don't even go out on the boat, but I got to take care of the boat. Like, it's a fucking thing that I got to do. And I guess with the album, like, my goal is to bring a piece of work across. It's like the freedom is here. Like, it's in your soul. And you can have it. And buying shit is not going to get it. You know? And that's kind of what I'm... I don't want to say it's what I'm going for because I don't want to define the album yet. But that seems like what it's setting up to be based on what I've written is like, dude, like, I keep repeating myself, but like,
no, you're not.
Freedom, man. Like free thought, free like action, like being free. That's the album to me. And Rusty Train resembles that. It's not about, that song's not really about free, like it's about freedom, but I'm just rambling, but.
It made, when you were talking about like how it's all within you, you ever heard that quote? I was trying to find out real quick who the author was because I wanted to do him or her justice. But have you ever heard that quote that all the gods, all the heavens, all the hells are within you?
Yeah.
I love that quote because I believe in that 100%.
Yeah.
Like when it goes alongside of that other quote of like, oh, I have 9,999 problems in my life and 9,998 were made by myself.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
yeah,
I could experience heaven or I could experience hell today. It depends on me. Like, am I going to go out and do my best to be ethical and have integrity and to be kind? Or am I going to walk out that front door and be judgmental and envious and an asshole? Like, you know, when we have that freedom to decide, is my day going to be heaven today or is my day going to be hell today? And like, sure, someone else might be a dick to me, but then I also have the choice of like, how am I going to respond to that? Am I going to be a dick back? In which case I'll probably mentally flog myself later. Like, man, why wasn't I an asshole to that stranger just because he is an asshole to me? But like that quote, I absolutely love it, man. And I don't have any tattoos, and I have like 2 or 3 that I've considered. And one was like getting that quote tattooed somewhere on me on like my chest or somewhere where I could see every day. So when I'm in the mirror, it can be like a gentle reminder of like, I get to choose today if it's going to be heaven or hell.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to answer the question like, is there a God? Is there Satan? Is there heaven? Is there hell? I can decide right now, right here today, what my day is going to look like, how I'm going to treat other people. So I love that that's the theme for your album. And I hope you keep working on how you articulate it through your songs.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to claim too quick that it's the theme, like,
because I want it.
Well, dude, because I want to give room, you know, like I want the album to like define itself. I don't want to like set boundaries and be like, this is what it's about.
Sure.
For me, it's like I'm just like the conduit of the album. I'm like the governor, kind of, or like the president, but like the album is its own thing, you know. That's how I look at it, and like the songs are. So I don't want to be like, oh, this is about this. And like now everything I write is like aimed at that. Like I want it to just come out its way. But it seems like from what I've been writing, like it's about what you touched on, which is finding freedom within the modern world. And like not from like something like slavery where like you're owned, you're not free. Like not that kind of concept, but like we're all kind of in this position right now where like we're free as we've ever been, but we're also the most tied down that we've ever been because we have so many fucking options, you know? Like there's so much shit going on that like we're not free. So I want to bring people to like this place where they can listen to my music. They can listen to my songs. I guess this new album will be that, maybe. Where it's like, it's a little place you can go to, man, where you can be free. You know, or maybe it inspires you to want to be more free or like think on your own and like not get caught up in all this shit going on and like, I don't know. I'm not a political person. I'm pretty apolitical.
Same here.
And it's like, I want to maintain that. And I don't want to be like taking a stance politically. I just want to create a zone for anybody to go to say, we can all go here. It sounds, dude, it sounds so fucking stupid, but like, and it is. Really, like when I just listen back to what I said, it's fucking dumb. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much more about the album. I've been rambling on because I'm fucked up.
We will talk no more about the album. This has been
it'll be out in 2024. Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Dom Francis. Website to be coming soon.
Coming soon, baby. Coming soon.
This has been a great episode. Thanks you so much for showing up.
Thanks for having me, man.
For everyone who has kept up with us for the last 3 hours, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Spotify.
Leave us a 5-star review, you motherfuckers. You got it.
Did the Boston accent just come out a little bit?
A little bit. Hey, you motherfuckers. If you made it to here, you better be leaving a 5-star review.
For real, if you just hung out with us for 3 hours and don't leave a review, that
we're gonna fucking come to your house. Yeah,
this is more about you than us. And on Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star review there, and go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, I hope that everyone has a healthy and happy Saturday night, and we will see you next Saturday for another episode of DSNSB, aka David's Saturday Night Sit Back. Bye, everyone.
See you.